What does this mean really for Google and its perception right now, given that this is a Google executive that may have been killed by a prostitute?
So, he worked at Google, he worked at Apple, he worked at Sun, he worked at a lot of the iconic American technology companies. He was 51 when he died. Seems to have been mostly a hardware guy by background. It's a sensational and very sad story, right? He was injected with heroin. We don't know if it was willingly or unwillingly. He's a father of 5 kids. He's married for 17 years. He's a guy who's a middle-aged corporate executive. And I think if this says anything, it probably says something about the fact that technology in Silicon Valley are becoming like every other huge mainstream part of the American and global economy. We have high-pressure executives who, under pressure or under whatever family constraints they may have, who knows, in a humanistic sense, are behaving in ways that they may not be proud of. I don't think it says anything specific about the behavior of Silicon Valley. I think in some ways this may just be the maturation of Silicon Valley to be as big a place with as many dollars flowing as you have in the traditional bad boy place, Hollywood, the door of Wall Street.
Michael, there's sort of this halo effect around Silicon Valley and around tech execs, whereas Wall Street has really been vilified. I mean, you just have to think of Wolf of Wall Street to get one example of that, and you think about all the challenging times the Wall Street community has been through as of late. They're kind of easy to hate. Silicon Valley, not so much. And then a story like this happens. Does it change people's perception of the tech community?
I think that's a very good question. In Silicon Valley, we do make things, right? One of the reasons people like what we do is that we make stuff. We make stuff that didn't exist before and might not exist without us. Whereas in Wall Street, though they do a very important function, it's easier to hate them because they effectively move money from left to right and from right to left. It's a kind of a rent on the global economy. So easier to hate without actually making a product. On the other hand, if this says anything, I got to tell you, there's a halo around Silicon Valley, whether entrepreneurs like me or executives like him. And guess what? We're people too. We are humans with foibles and frailties. And whether it's the pressures of work or the pressures of being alive or just being a human being, which is difficult enough as it is, when you add all of that incendiary mix to a huge amount of money flowing, right? This guy was found on his 50-foot yacht right outside Santa Cruz, where he lives. Right? This is not a middle-class problem. This is an executive, high-pressure kind of situation.
No,
instead of fact, when you have that mix, you have sad facts sometimes.
Yeah, and look, clearly he made a lot of mistakes. As you said, a father of 5. Yet, back to this issue of contrasting Wall Street with Silicon Valley. I mean, you think even about pay, for example, and the demonization of Wall Street pay, where, tech execs are making equal, if not more, money. And yet it's not seen to be quite as egregious. Does this get back to the idea of, something's being built as opposed to, a derivatives product that is moving money from one place to the other?
You're asking me, so I'll answer. In the stack of virtues, I think making things and selling the things you make, or making things and giving the things away that you make, is somehow more virtuous than shifting money left to right. We need both, okay? And so I don't think that we need to vilify Wall Street and celebrate overmuch or have a hagiography of
Well, we
Silicon Valley.
absolutely do need both, because, Michael, you need Wall Street and Wall Street needs you.